in hopes that we wouldn't say it first, but truth must be told.
And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter. Peace.
Young
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Robot, if you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button ASAP, man. We the hottest in the game. We putting something out every day for you. We going, since we get out the religious tapes, we going now into the extraterrestrial stuff. And people, we tell people about stuff on Earth. They don't believe us. So how would they gonna believe us when we tell them about things in heaven? Right? So we got people coming on the ant tape, right? And they, if I was the color of my shirt, they'll believe me, or they'll say, oh yeah, that's right. But since I'm this color, right, they say, oh yeah, well he got to be crazy. He making things up, right, about the toxicity, right? The ant race of beings. They say, oh, that ain't real. You taking things that are facts from below and then add them to above. I gotta think to myself, man, we got a long way to go because these people must have never heard as it is above, so is it below. We told you 1,000 years ago, if you've been with us, that if you want to find out about a lot of different extraterrestrial races in your galaxy, they're right here on your planet. Study different species here. A lot of these species are extraterrestrial species. They wasn't here that long a time ago. So where did the ant come from? Where did the ant origin from? If the planet was covered with water when it was called Tiamat, where did the lion species, all these different species, come from on Earth? They evolved from one person, or did God mold them from because he don't say nothing about molding them from the dust of the ground, like he molded Adam. So where did all these different beings come from? Now, the Mound connection, because we made the Mound connection with these extraterrestrial. Now, the Native Americans over here, they got drawings on the wall of these beings. So Young Elder then just put this out. The Native Americans over here got drawings of the ant, saying some ant beings came from Taseti, and taught them how to dig underground and go underground during the flood, when the planet rotates, during the pole shift. They taught them how to go underground. Now, you got other people coming on saying, man, the extraterrestrials didn't teach the humans nothing. The angels did. And I said, oh man, these people, this is I mean, I almost gave up after that dude said that. Extraterrestrials didn't teach humans, angels did. And then I'm cool with that. But the thing is, he said they didn't teach humans. But what about the book of Enoch's? And who's the Igigis? Right? It was more than just 300. They got stationed on Mars, and the 200 that chose to come to Murdoch's wedding. It was a whole bunch of Igigis stationed on Nibiru. Some of them manned the ship. They stayed in the sky, but then 300 of them got dumped off on Mars for under orders of Anu, and he put a captain over them. The first captain, who de facto, his name was Anzu, and that's Murdoch's uncle, and Dan Keenan's brother, Alelu's son. And he was he not only was he a pilot, he was a master builder of dome and underwater cities. Right, we're getting into the Igigis rebel against the Anunnakis, but a lot of these different species that are part of the Igigis made deals with the Anunnakis to help them retrieve the gold. And then later on, another thing came up where they was going to get them part of the DNA bank. Now the DNA bank was the Anunnakis used a lot of these different species DNA to upgrade and engineer the human species into a worker being, which they later termed as a Lulu Amalu. Right, that means primitive worker. Right, and if you read the scripture close, Adam and Eve was supposed to. Adam really, they really, the Bible story really is watered down. Well, it ain't even watered down. It's just they don't even give you much. They just give you. They don't even give you much about what happened, but Enlil was essentially training Adam and Eve to take over the project so that they can leave and go back to Nibiru, because staying on Earth was affecting their blood type and affecting their longevity. Because if you read the Lost Books of Enki by Zachariah Stitcher, he goes into saying that they age process was turning to more human than it was. But later on, he also go to say that the Enlil and Enki them, they were and Mother Ninti, and there was a whole group of them, they were getting discouraged because of this. But then when they made it back to Nibiru, Anu had gave them some of this elixir that they had on Nibiru, and when they drank it, it reset their genetics back to the Nibiru genetics. So they ended up figuring it out, but staying on Earth made them age faster, right? But we get into who are the Igigis. So the Igigis were different species that were part of this project, and like I say, 300 got stationed on Mars, and it wasn't just one species; it was different types. The ant species were one of the species, which they later on drafted on Mars. They drafted from these. Well, they used several different species, but the Meldekians were one. The Meldekians were drafted out of the Tassidians, right? And then also the Tassidian DNA was used to make the Greys, because the Greys avatar is part is insect. They look like the insects. If you go look at the ant beings, then you look at the Greys, they kind of look alike, but they different species, right? And so it was other species like the Hindu species that are the Centaurians, the tall blue Centaurians that had blue skin, right? And they show you some of these people in the Hindu gods. When you look at the Hindu gods, right? Some of them beings were from the planet Nevada, and they were working with the Anunnakis, right? But to put it in perspective for my Bible guys, in the book of Enoch, these angels who were elves, that's right, they were elves, right? If you go look up, they all these beings were elves, and they came down and taught humans different things. They taught humans how to make. Humans didn't know how to build no pyramids and mounds. Humans weren't building pyramids and mounds. And keep in mind, there's a difference between the children of God, humans, and then mankind. You got three different types. You got gods, the seed of God, and then you got humans. Then you got mankind. Like they said, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Right, making a clear distinction between the two. Right. So these beings came down and taught the humans how to make bricks and stack them on top of each other and make concrete, because they was already building pyramids on Mars. That's why it's pyramids on Mars right now. You can go look it up. Right, these same guys built the pyramids on Mars, and they were mound builders. What other species exhibit the underground? If you look at the strategic layouts of the underground cities and the mounds under the mounds, it's laid out just like an ant bed. It's laid out just like an ant bed. And keep in mind, as it is above, so is it below. And this same species of these Tarsicians generate and connect with another species called a Naga beings. And the Nagas also build mounds. The Nagas are cobras. Like the Egyptians, they be wearing a cobra on their head, right? They connect with this species called the Nagas. Because you got to keep in mind, these Hindus or these people from Nirvana, they came here. They were dragon worshippers, and that's why if you go in the ancient culture over in India, you will see a lot of the dragon worship, and their children or the people they mixed in with, and that's what they took it to China, and that's how China got the dragon, and they parade around with the dragon. And then also, like Doc pointed out in the Let's Set the Record Straight book, right, that these Hoshin, who had the dragon worship from the people that worship the Naga beings, they traveled over here and mixed in with us, the Almacs, right, and then produced another group of beings, which later on became the children of the Almacs, called the Aztecs. And they brought the dragon culture with them. That's why if you go down to South America, you see some of the dragon culture incorporated into their gods and into their structures, right? Even though they ain't the ones, the people that built those mounds are the Naga people, the people that's a descendant of the Nagas. And it's a reason why, hey, shout out Empress Radbird. It's a reason why Mama Empress Radbird got that certain type of headdress, and it's a reason why she got a long neck. The Najarus, they got long necks. My mama and them got them long necks, right? And that's a trait of the Najarus. We're gonna get into the Najarus. They different from the Anunnakis. See, a lot of people, the Igigis got into it with the Anunnakis, but when I give you this perspective, and I already gave this perspective already. We got like 2-3 tapes out on the Anunnakis. I mean, the 200 Igigis, 300 Igigis, the 200 fallen who were elves. Right, we got a lot of tapes on this, but we giving you more angles on it, right? On now that we got more information channeled in on it, right? And so the Anunnakis, man, I can feel them, because you got to think about it like this. You got ant beings. It's ant beings on our planet, right? You just put it like this. I say you as a human, you Anunnaki, because the Anunnakis are the humans. Well, it's different species, but for the most part, they say the humans. You are Anunnaki as a human, right? And then the ants. Now let's say if you make a deal with the ants. Well, now if you kind of like, at the end of the deal, you're gonna be like, man, these ants, I ain't got to pay you. You an ant. That's how the Anunnakis did these Igigis. It's like It's like you a butterfly, or you this. Like I'm man, or the human feels like they're in control of the planet, or they the masters, when they not. You know why the man's not the master right now on the planet? It's because they don't stick together. It's race, it's religion, it's so many things that separated the man, that they don't move like a hive. If the insects wanted to take over, it'd be over. It would have been over. If the insects wanted to take over the planet, if the birds, any other race any other species wanted to take over the planet, they could. And that's almost where we headed. If we got people that still coming in laughing at the ant tape, saying, "Oh man, this dude taking stuff that's real facts and mixing it with," and I say, "Oh yeah, he behind." Then especially when he say, "Oh yeah, no man, you ain't no such thing as extraterrestrials. There's only angels." Yeah, okay, yeah, but anyway, these extraterrestrial called the Igigis, 200 of them eventually came down and rebelled. Part of the rebel was to teach the humans what the Anunnakis didn't want them to know. And this in the book of Enoch. You can read that too, right? Uh, and that's why they taught them how to do different things, how to read the stars, how to make weapons. And not just, they talk about molding metals, but they taught them how to make bombs and things of that nature as well, right? They also taught them how to build mounds. They taught the elves, the Moors, because they became Moors because the 200 landed in Aura, a Chaldea. So when I say Mu, that means one who's of, and then I say Aura, a Chaldea. So and Aura, because he spelled O-R or U-R. So I say Mu Auras. So these 200 Igigis who landed at Murdoch's wedding, and then they left out and began going around, and people started calling them Moors. And they became known as travelers. Why? Because they knew about the stars and they taught the humans about the stars. But the Anunnakis didn't want the humans to know that, how to move around. They want the humans only to take orders and bow before me and do as you're told. Don't you know some people like that? Some people like that do as you're told. Bow before me. I'm your God. This is Enlil, right? Enlil, boy, he got that. He got a certain type of energy on him. Well, if you don't want to, he ain't running it. He don't want to do nothing. He don't want to be involved, right? And if you don't want to let him involve, he'll take it down, tear it down, find a way to break it apart. Telling you, man, this guy, Enlil. But yeah, like I say, and they taught them how to pretty much what the Anunnakis didn't want them to know, like kind of like they said, the slave the false slave narrative they give on. They didn't let the slaves read. They didn't let them do certain things because they wanted to stay their master. Was the same thing with the Anunnakis. They didn't want the humans to do certain things because they wanted to stay over their master. But these Igigis rebelled and taught the humans. Now it's clear to see. It says Enlil. Really Enlil. It depends on what perspective. Gray. It depends on what perspective. To me, Enlil wasn't a good guy. Enlil wasn't a good guy. Enlil didn't have compassion. The universal law state that we based it off compassion and evidence and reason. Enlil didn't have no compassion. He wanted to exterminate the humans. Now you can say, oh, because the humans didn't follow his rules, like it says, and I'm gonna tell you how they get down. In Deuteronomy chapter 15, he talks about the contract that he made with the humans. It said, if you do all this, then I'll do this. But if you don't do this, then I get to do this. But you overstand if he was just your God straight up, why he got to make a contract with you? Why he got to make a deal with you? See, Galactic law states that no higher being can come down and bother you unless you agree to it. So in order for you to agree to In order for Enlil to bother you, you had to agree to this deal. That's what Deuteronomy 15. A lot of this might go over your head because we really behind schedule though. That's why they told us to go and start putting this out. We really behind schedule, so people just gonna have to catch up or not. If you're not gonna catch up, you're gonna get left behind. And it's a lot of Sabines, my Sabine brothers. They going around saying, "Oh, we don't gotta listen to the young elder." Well, hey, too bad, because I'm telling you this: a lot of y'all gonna get left behind because you think you know everything already, and you really don't know nothing. Because we don't hear none of y'all out teaching, really. Nobody really out really putting it down. We see the OSM guy. They give him 80,000 to 90,000 plays. And then he reading off a notepad. When he teach his class, he say, yeah. So I'm making me think, do he really know the information or he just going over as he go? But he doing a good job though. We ain't dissing him or nothing. But we gonna say this. Enlil didn't have compassion. Enlil played the game raw when he wanted to get rid of the humans. And like I said, when they made the deal was at the end that the Anunnakis was going to give everybody that participated a piece of the genetical code, the finishing product. And check this out: your genetical code is not completed. See, the Anunnakis got the complete code, but they left your code uncompleted. And but you can complete it yourself. It can be developed and completed yourself, but because they call it junk DNA. See, junk. They say that all this. They say, oh, it's 90% of the DNA is all junk DNA. No, it's not junk DNA. They just don't know what it is because they don't know how to activate it. And then eventually they found out what it is, but they still telling us and playing us like they don't know what it is. And you know they did. I'm gonna tell you where around the time they found out about the junk DNA and what it really was in the Nubians. And not on and when I say Nubians, if you on here and you got pale skin, you might be a Nubian. It's all dealing with blood type. Think about the old blood type. The old blood type is what the blood type. Now think about this. I'm gonna tell you about around the time that we on the same topic, right? The Igigis, right? Rebel against the Anunnakis. But I'm gonna tell you about around the time that they cut the energy off to try to stop our DNA. When they found out that the African drum, that the drum that Curtis Mayfield had, that's why they got rid of Curtis Mayfield now. The drum. The technique is called Tahuti. Tahuti is the master geneticist and the master DNA guy. That's why his staff is the symbol for DNA and medicine and all that, right? So check this. They know that drum could activate the junk DNA. So what they do? They got rid of analog and brought in digital. Doc already broke all this down already on a tape called. We got it out. It's called. We got it named the Rainbow Project. Doc go in and talk on it a little bit. But they knew that the drum would activate the junk DNA. So they say, oh, we got to get rid of the drum. We're going to bring in electric drums. We're going to bring in synthetic drums to slow them down. See, all that was and then the music, what they did is when they brought the synthetic drums in, they also paid these rappers and they pay them truckloads of money. Now, who do you think should be making more? Some guy that's over the rapping some ping pong on a mic over a synthetic beat, or a guy that's out there like Prince with a whole live band getting it on to break it down. Like a guy with Prince who had the whole live band playing live instruments, not no digital. Prince didn't do digital; he did analog. So their whole game plan was to get rid of the drum because the drum activates the junk DNA. They know this. And there was only a matter of time of that drum being played in certain rhythms and certain tones to hit certain keys, because you got to hit certain keys to activate the DNA. They know that, and that's why they went in when Tahuti had the piano tuned to 500. I think it was 500 megahertz. on the middle C, they went in and tuned it down to 440. And then this when you get into the 440 hertz and the 432 and 880 hertz, which is really kind of like dangerous. It's like taking ultraviolet rays, listening to 800. 500 is on G, and you're dealing with the G, right? The G is dealing with the heart chakra, the green light, and right. And little do you know, why the ancestors produced and brought about a being by the name of Al Green, and Al Green put out a song called "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart." A lot of this might sound like mumbo jumbo to the average guy that ain't at least the basic alchemist. If you ain't a basic alchemist, it's gonna sound like mumbo jumbo. But Al Green, heart chakra green, how can you mend that broken heart? And then he played it in G. Now, what did the devil do? He tried to counter that, and he put out Tony Braxton, right? Unbreak My Heart. That's the name of it. And they played that, I think, in F sharp. And keep in mind, sharp, it was the Unbreak My Heart. What was the name of that song? Unbreak My Heart, say you love me again. And they played that in the sharp tones. I'm telling you, man. And so going back to who's orchestrating this, because the dude that everybody's worshiping, that they said, hey, all holy, they say it's all the secret societies in the world that say down with the dark side, they worshiping Enlil's son, whose name is Baal. Whereas that's his title. His name is Adad or Ahad. So Baal is Enlil's son. Mulak, all them names go back to Baal. The Saturn worship, and I can tie you in with the Saturn worship, is because Baal is Halah's grandson as well. He's Enlil's son, and he's Halah's grandson. Halah and them is Halah is Hambaba's them son, and they base is Titan. Titan is a moon to Saturn, and so they a long time ago, Mother Hubert engineered them and to look more humanoid, where they can invade Saturn, and so Saturn is really like a home base for them. And so Doc said they're trying to get back to Saturn, so that connects Baal way back to Saturn. You see where I'm going with this? And so through Humbaba and them, his granddad now, who is also Nanar Sin's granddad as well, which will make Inanna the great granddaughter of Halah. Telling you, which will make Tammuz the great great grandson of Halah, and Enlil, and Enki. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was coming on trying to argue with me. Oh, Murdoch is not Amen. Well, you behind. We don't got time to argue no more. We're going to just tell you and just keep it going. We're going to just tell you. Maybe you'll come back to it later and say, oh, yeah, Young Gilder was right. You know? Yeah, but it says go back to mad scientist, the fake Yaku. I wonder what you mean by the fake Yaku. Because the Danako beings exist. The beings that the Yaku come from, those beings exist. They even came to the surface and mixed with humans. And that's why humans got a receding hairlines. You see them humans got the you going bald in the middle, you got Danako in you. The big huge forehead, they mixed in with a people called the Afar people and the Danako people over in Egypt. Go look them up. And a lot of different extraterrestrials mixed in with us, and that's why we got so many different genetical features and traits. All humans don't look the same, right? So some of y'all got the receding hairline like George Jefferson, so that means you got that Danako in you. Then you got that Yaku. But see, Yaku was mixed with another being called the Teru, and we got proof that they exist. We got their skulls and everything, right? His mother was a Teru, right? That Conehead people who they made a movie about, right? And Some of y'all got the cone in you. Some of y'all got cone heads. I can pull you some pictures up right now, niggas with cone heads. It should hook people. Yeah, I can pull the pictures up for the cone heads. Some of you got cone in your head. And Pharaoh, hey, look, so the one group of Igigis, which is called the Tarsetians, they the ones that influence the digging underground and building the mounds, right? And then another group, because they was just doing that at first, the other group influenced putting the point on the pyramid, and that was the Terus. The Terus influenced the point on the pyramid because the first pharaoh, they say, to attempt to do the point, we know Tahuti did it first, but the first pharaoh they said to attempt to do the point was Pharaoh Huni, creating the bent pyramid, who they attribute to Sneferu, but Sneferu created the true pyramid, built the true pyramid, the red pyramid. But yeah, so the Igigis influences all over. If you think extraterrestrials didn't influence humans, well, how do you think from 1900s to now that humans all of a sudden just got this burst of technology in less than 100 years? If all of this technology's been here, if all of these parts, these components, the metals and different minerals used to make these different devices, why haven't you been made them? That's because from 1947, all of a sudden you had this burst of technology. Why? Because of the Roswell crash. A lot of this technology that you playing with right now, the government been had since the 1950s, and they just not giving it to you. They had night vision. They got night vision off the Roswell crash. They got the modules off of the Roswell crash. They got a lot of different technology off of extraterrestrial ships crashing, and then they reverse engineering it. And then some of the stuff extraterrestrials gave it to them, like the Venerians, who gave you the hybrid engine. The hybrid engine has been out since the 60s. Listen to me. The Venerians, a being by the name of Nicholas Tesla, who really was a dark-skinned Venerian, because it's dark-skinned Venerians too. Go watch my tape called Field Trip to Venus. Val Thor was of the pale man. But the original people of Venus, who was Nicholas Tesla, was a Venerian, a dark-skinned Venerian. And I have reason to believe that Master Farad Muhammad was a part of both of them races, because Val Thor is the one that they came from another planet, and they were as refugees to get away from the reptilians. They came from a planet called Aldebaran, and they was an offspring of the Hindus. But going back to the hybrid engine was gave to the government in the 60s by the Venerians, and the hybrid the levitation train that goes Mark 5 underground, the technology like that. Hey, hopefully soon. But a lot of the information is being channeled right now. And see, what we here to do is we here to give you the reason why we was picked is because I'm not biased. And so I'm gonna give you both sides. I'm gonna give you the Anunnaki side and the Igigi side, the Dragon reptilians point of view. We're gonna tell you everybody's point of view. That way you be the judge. You make the choice of who you think you with. Because I know I'm Anunnakis, right? And we Anunnakis, Igigis, we all, when you get down to it, we all one family when you get down to it. That's what I came to that's what I told Anu, that I came to the conclusion on, that we are one. There's no number but one. The same thing he told me before I came down here. There's no number but one. Everybody's family. Everybody's connected in one way or the other. And the Igigis came down and mixed in with the humans. But it was bigger than that. It was a genetic. They were supposed to participate in this experiment, and they did participate. And in the end, they were supposed to get that genetical code, but the Anunnaki saw how powerful that code was, and they didn't want them to get it, so they kept it for themselves. And when they did this, a war broke out between them and the Anunnakis. And the Igigis lost because they didn't have enough powerful technology to defeat the Anunnakis. But the Anunnakis lost a bigger war because when they ran off and thought that they had, oh yeah, it's just like this. When you go out in the yard and you go out and pour gasoline all over an ant bed trying to get them out your yard, right? Or run them over with the lawnmower, right? How do you feel sorry for them ants? Like you feel like, oh, I got rid of them, but you don't feel like it don't really affect you like that to run over. Well, it affect me because I know what that they real beings and that they got that. If but how you treat them beings is how some bigger beings are gonna treat you when they come. So imagine if you the size of that ant compared to another being, and he treat you like you treat the ants, and just crush your ass, step on you and smash you down to the ground. How would you feel? That's why you gotta protect the life. If you don't gotta if an ant crawl on you, if you don't gotta kill them, don't kill them. If something crawl in your house, like some insect or something, if it's living and you don't gotta kill it, don't kill it out of fear. Try to get it out without killing it, because it's you when you kill that thing, you send a electric shock into the atmosphere because it's life that's gone. Well, not gone completely, but it's gone in a way out of that avatar. You see, but on Mars, they was doing a lot of stuff. Like they was getting bored because they was up there for 10,000 years. They was up there for 3 shawls. A shawl is 3,600 years. That's 1 year on Nibiru. A shawl, and they got 10 months. Each month, I think, got 300 and some years, and each month, so 3,600 years. Or not, it might be 12 months and 300 12 months, 300 years in a month. And they give 3,600. And they come back, and now that ship Nibiru is up there. But like I say, the Nibiru, the Anunnakis lost a bigger war. That bigger war was because of what they did. They had to answer to a higher power, which is the high Galactic Council. It's a council that's higher than the Anunnakis. And it's a book. You can go get a book called The Return of Inanna. But I got I can't wait to get all my books out of the storage and set up because I'm ordering a bookshelves to get the books set up so I can start pulling these books out and show you how that I don't just be talking off the top of my head. I got all the books. I got all the stuff. So it's a book called Return of the Inanna. I think of the lady's name that wrote. She channeled the information and wrote it in that book. It's about this thick. It's called A Return of Inanna. You can get it off of Amazon, right? That's where I got it from. But she goes in to talk about how when Inanna and them found out that what they had did was well, they knew it was against at certain points when the Anunnakis were doing some of the things they were doing, it wasn't no law against it. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no laws against a lot of the stuff that they was doing. Matter of fact, that war that broke out caused a lot of laws to be put on the books for what they did, for what Enlil. That's why Enlil probably got to get off because of the he gonna get off probably in the long haul because a lot of the laws that they broke wasn't on the rule books at that time. They created some of these laws just recently got added to the Galactic Constitution. Like But if you read close, like I said in the Bible, Enlil had to make a contract with the people in order to be their God. The Israelites got to agree to Enlil being their God in order for that contract to be legit, or else he can't bother them. It's against galactic law for some higher being to come down. That's how you know the whole religious God thing is a fraud, because it's against galactic law for somebody to come for a higher dimensional being to come down and make you worship them without you agreeing to it. It's against galactic law. So but unless you sign a contract with them, unless you agree to it, that's what this is all about. And so that's what Deuteronomy 15 says. If you let me be your God, then I do all these things for you, which he never came through on. You people still suffering and struggling. You people, you black Hebrew Israelites, y'all still struggling and poor, and Enlil still ain't came through on none of them promises he got. He actually laughing at you in a way. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at the truth. I'm telling you, man. It's that time. Enlil, you sign that deal and you agree to it. Now, if you hold, Enlil say if you hold tight to his garment and follow the rules that he gave you, we had our own rules. We ain't got to follow the rules Enlil got. We had our own rules. The Inky side had its own rules. They called it 42 negative confessions, which it seems like some of the commandments came up right up straight up out of it. Matter of fact, in fact, they did. We don't got to even beat around the bush no more. But nevertheless, that's nonetheless. If you go read the Bible again and read where you got to make a contract with this being. Why? Because he'll be breaking galactic law if you didn't. Right? But see, Enlil and them, when you don't, if you're a bad being, and what we call bad is when you go around doing evil. You don't gotta worry about Enlil and them and Anunnakis doing nothing to you. Worry about the universe doing something to you. The universe get rid of people like that. People that think that you can walk around and be evil. Don't worry about some God or some being getting you ooh and grabbing you and throwing you in here. Don't worry about none of that. Worry about the universe getting you. Getting you just like the same energy you put out, getting that same energy back. Just worry about that part. Don't worry about no God. Oh, because he can't really bother you unless you make a deal. Unless you say, hey, it's like this. When they come to take you to court to sue you for something, it's because you got a contract with them. That's the only way they can sue you. You got to have a contract with them in some form or fashion. So and if you read Galactical law, like I said, if you read Galactical law, no extraterrestrial from a higher dimension, because they say God is in the higher dimension. He's so that's what they teach. And so he a higher dimensional being. And so he can't come down here and interfere with the mortals. And that's why because they did this, that was already on the books. That law right there was on the books. And that's ultimately what they got charged with. And because they did this, they had they got two options. They was gonna put chains on them, and they put a block on the Anunnaki so they couldn't ascend higher than what they was, because they was developing technology to go higher. But when they tried to go higher, there was a block, and they wondered why. So they went to the ascended council to see why, and the ascended council told them it's because what you did on Earth. You got to go back and fix it. So the Anunnakis had to come back to Earth. The rules were they had to come according to what Inanna said in the book Return of Inanna, that the Anunnakis had to come back to Earth and for the most part incarnate as humans and then teach the humans and also fight through suffering from amnesia and have to remember in every life cycle and teach the humans until they develop enough to where they could get on the level with the Anunnakis. And that was the only way they was going to get past the wall that the higher dimensional beings put against them. See, okay, when you talk about dimensions, once you get out of you're talking about frequencies. So it's like this. I'm gonna break it down for you even better, Commando Squad. Let's say you had, them two-way walkie-talkies. If you had a walkie-talkie, right? On that walkie-talkie, it's got channels, right? So when you talk about dimensions, minus the fact you're talking about height, width, and length, right? Minus that fact, I'm talking about the frequency. I'm going to, because everything is a vibration. Everything is a frequency. Past what you see, it's all vibrations. Even this light, this laptop, is a vibration the laptop just slowed down to where it can become a solid. But if I speed the components up of this, it becomes a liquid, then a gas, right? So think about this, Commando. Think about having a two-way walkie-talkie, and say it had 9 channels on it, right? Now, let's just say If I say, hey, go to channel 3, and you go to channel 3, and then me and you could talk on channel 3, and all of us now are on channel 3, and so we could talk, communicate with each other on channel 3. And then, but then we also can go down to channel 2 and channel 1, because we got 3 channels on our walkie-talkie. But let's say if you had a full thing walkie-talkie, a full channel walkie-talkie, and the other people only had 3, so you can listen to 3 on your full walkie-talkie, but you also can go to a 4 where they don't got on theirs, and say if another guy had 4, you and that guy can communicate, and they won't be able to hear what you're saying on 3 because they can't go to that channel. It's like a higher frequency, right? And you actually can go to that channel. It is lie to you and tell you can't. You can actually go to that channel, and that's how the extraterrestrials that's how they communicate with you. Doc said that, and Doc referred to it as the mental plane. And they different extraterrestrials communicate and contact beings through this realm, the 4th dimensional realm, which is the mental plane. It's a buffer zone between the 4th and the 5th, and the 3rd and the 5th. Right? And so this is I mean, yeah, we're gonna take a couple questions, man. We'll take some questions. Says so. No, they can come down to this dimension. They can come down to this dimension and materialize. It just depends. So here is different ways, because like, man, it's really hard to explain, but it's that this world, there's more than one world here. Like right before your eyes, if you knew how to upgrade your tone your frequencies, you could walk into a whole nother world. Right? Let me give you an example. Right now, you might can look around your house and it might look clean. But if you can get what they call a microscope and start just look, if you can go around, if I took change your lenses to a microscope lens, and you would be able to see little things crawling around, that's a whole nother world. The microcosmic world is a whole nother world. And so you got these different, it's different frequencies. You can't see these micro bacteria with your eyes, right? You can't see these microbacteria, but you gotta have a certain lens. So they are here walking around. You just gotta have a certain lens to see them. Your lens gotta, and certain people do see them. And I'm gonna give you an example, Commando. Sometimes you might be sitting in the house, right? And then you see something move in move like a shadow move out the corner of your eye. You can see them, but if you look, you don't see them, right? But they'd be them moving. Only thing is they moving in a higher frequency and faster. You can't, your eyes are not trained to see them. But if you were to speed up to their vibration, you'll see them, and you'll see how many of them is here. They're almost getting your way. Yes, but it's galactic laws against it. But did they give a dang? They go look. The Anunnaki, I mean the Dragonians don't follow the rules. They got their own rules. That's why they're the Dragonians. They're the liberty breaker law that the Anunnakis got anything to do with. It says yeah, it's like you see, I mean, you would be sitting there, like say voiceover. You would be sitting there, and like you might not be paying attention to whatever going on, but out the corner of your eye, you say, "Damn, I know I seen something move across the floor or something." It was like I saw something, but your eyes haven't trained to it. And I'm gonna tell you, it's another thing too that's blocking you from seeing them completely. Fear is blocking you from seeing them completely, because if you could see them completely, man, some people can see them, and now they got them in a crazy house locked up in a straitjacket because people think that they crazy. Because I seen him. It was a reptilian walking. I'm telling you, in my house. And look, they say he crazy. Let's lock him up. Give him some drugs. Dope him up. Right. So some people some people don't say nothing when they see this, and some of y'all who vibration of speed is speeding up, you're gonna start to see them little spots. You're gonna start to see them more, and then sometimes if when you see the little spot run by, right, they'll be in your house, right, and then you will be sitting and you'll be, now that you alert that something just moved. And then you'll be looking in the dark spot in the corner and you'll see some people around the corner. You're like, damn, I saw some people around the corner. Like, I know I ain't tripping. I saw something, it was tall, like leaning around the corner, like, look at me. I'm telling you, man, it happened to me a whole bunch of times. Yeah, but this it says the spirits, right? Some of them be disembodied souls, but like I say, they can't really get over to this realm. Like they like you can see them and they probably can see you. It's like this. 'Cause I like using the Bible as a reference because the Bible got some good things that can be used to explain what I'm talking about. In the Bible, Abraham was Abraham and it was Lazarus and another man and a rich man. It was the rich man, right? And the rich man could see them and they could see the rich man, but they couldn't get to each other. Because the rich man said, hey, Abraham, send Lazarus over here to give me a drop. If he could just bring me a drop, it must be real bad over there what he was, if he was begging for a drop of water, right? So he's supposed to be bringing him a drop, but he said, I can't get to you. It's a gulf in between us. So it's a gulf in between that realm and this realm. And technically, they can't do nothing to you unless you make a contract with them. That's why when they show you in these vampire movies, when a vampire comes to your house, you got to accept and invite him in. He can't just come in without you letting them in. They got to make a deal with you. You got to agree to what's happening. Can't no extraterrestrial mess with you technically by galactic or universal law unless you make contracts with them. And that's why the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 15, and pretty much the whole 5 books of Moses read like a contract. And they just turned it in a nice way and just changed it over to like you don't know what a covenant is. A covenant is another word for contract, right? So God made a contract, a covenant with his people, a contract. So if he your God, why he got to make a contract with you? To be your God. So why would he have to make a contract with you to be your God, man? And then say if you don't want to agree to it, he gonna burn you in some fire. That don't even make no sense no more. It just ain't making sense. Right? And that's the same thing they doing to us now. They make us sign contracts in this system. And then if you don't want to agree to it, they burn you. Throw them in jail. See, jail is synonymous with hell. See, you got jalapeno. It sound like a Jose, right? It sound like I'm spelling it with a H, right? But it's really a J there. And so when I say jail and hell, that's synonymous because there's welding and gash in the teeth in jail. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, Ankh 607 is he with us. Ankh 607 is a spin on Tahoti. Tahoti tapping in through that brother in a way. Tahoti be tapping in through him and saying certain things. And they be trying to write that brother off as he crazy. But yeah, he's saying it's time, the stuff that he's saying is supposed to be said right now. And that's why a lot of like I say, truth has got to be said whether you like it or not, and whether you want to go with it or not. All the truth has got to be put out on the table, and you got to pick out what you think you like. You know what I'm saying? Pick out what you want. Nigga. Hey, you take your pick, right? But you can go on and make your contract with whatever God you want to come down. And don't get mad at people when they make contracts with Baal and say they want to be a satanic worshiper. They made a contract with him. That's what they did. That's what they do. So if you want to make a contract with Enlil, go right ahead. Sign right over. But the minute you break that contract, he got right to bust you upside your head, just like he said. Look, he said if you follow what I tell you to do, you good. So if you follow what he tell you to do, you might be good. But ain't no telling with Enlil. Now, but if you don't follow what he said, he got right to bust you upside your head. Why? Because you signed right here on the dotted line saying he can bust you upside your head if you don't follow what he said. Go read Deuteronomy chapter 15 again, man. And 28. Read 28. Read the whole Deuteronomy. It's a whole contract with God. Other people made contracts with their God, but they God, everybody shunned. The Bible God is supposed to be the ultimate God to make a contract with out of all the gods. Because it's God, it's people got their own books, they got their own gods that they made contracts with. But mostly around the world, the covenant made with God. Now we don't. Let's go and call it what it is, a contract. It's not, you would say covenant if you want to make yourself feel buttered up and things. It's a contract. I ain't got to make no contract with my own kin people. Sometimes you got to make contracts with your kin people and take them to court and sue them. So what if Enlil, since you Hebrew Israelites, because I know y'all ain't following all the rules, because y'all really Orthodox Christians. That's what y'all are. Most of you Black Hebrews over here, Orthodox Christians, and they coming out of Christianity going into the Hebrewism, and yeah, I'm telling you, man, truth is truth. And so if you break that contract with Enlil and he busts you upside your head, man, don't be mad, because he said that if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? That's how contracts work. It's called what's the word? Not forfeit the contract. It's called not for yeah, you forfeit the collateral, but if you fail the obligations of the contract. We don't want no more contracts with no off-world gods. The earthlings don't want no contracts with off-world gods. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can be cursed if you're gonna be cursed if you break that contract that you signed with God, with Enlil. But Enlil was supposed to protect the Israelites. He said he gonna protect you if you follow his rules. But according to their teachings, they broke his rules, so that's why they got put into the predicament they got put into. They got took as slaves. They got beat. They children got sold to their enemies. They it says in Deuteronomy that their enemy is gonna reap the fruits of their labor. Enlil made their enemy. They picked cotton. This is the storyline. They picked cotton and picked all that stuff and tobacco farmed for free almost. And the people that's their enemy reap the rewards. And that's what it said in the contract. Yeah, breach of contract. Shout out that my boy Armin, man. That boy Armin. Yeah, they breached the contract several times. The Israelites breached the contract with Enlil several times, which is why they supposedly signed in Muhammad to sign them up to a new contract. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad signed them up to a new contract with Nanar, Allah. There's supposed to have been a new contract with a new being, Allah, who was really Enlil's son. Then another group said, we don't want to go with Nanar, we want to go with Baal. So they start worshiping Baal, right? And they start calling themselves the Baphomets. And they start calling themselves the Satanic Order and all these different Luciferian orders and this and that. And Bell really was a good guy. You might not, this might sound crazy, but Bell was a good guy. No, I can't say he was an all-way good guy. I can give you a better idea. For you people that watch the movie New Jack City, out of the two brothers, Nino and G Money, Nino was more the nice one. Nino was more. I mean, not Nino. Gino, G Money was more the nicer brother. Even though he was a bad guy too, he still was more nicer than Nino. And that's the same scenario with Nanar, who is Enlil's son, and Bell, or A-Dad, who is Enlil's son. A-Dad is G Money. So who connect to the spiritual world? The reptilians? Everybody connect, all of y'all connect to the spiritual world. You connect to the spiritual world. Anybody, any living creature that has life, that has motion. If you got motion, you connected to the spiritual realm. If you got some motion, the minute you stop having motion, you ain't connected to the spiritual realm no more. That's a fact. Even if you got to get somebody to push you around, you still got motion. If you paralyzed, you still got motion. You still can think. When you can't think no more, you don't got no more motion. You don't got no more. That's when you ain't connected to the spiritual realm no more. As long as you can think, you connected to the spiritual realm, because the spirit is the gas, and the gas is what you use to think, and the gas is the real God, not Enlil them, not Anu them. We love, we respect, and we honor our ancestors, Anu, our great father, but they're not the God. They're not God. The gas is God. Gas is God. And I'm gonna keep on saying it. You don't think so? You know what God is? God is whoever you need. And Enlil them need gas to breathe on their ship. So if Enlil them run out of gas, they out of business. They're not connected to the spiritual realm no more. Yeah, gas is God. You don't think so? Stop breathing for 10 minutes and see, don't God leave you, and you gonna be gone too, right along with it. Right? I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Gas is God. You can't do nothing. God is whoever you need. So do Enlil and them need gas to breathe? Yes. Do the ant race, it don't matter what species in the galaxy, do they need gas, which is the non-ether gas, to survive? Yes. So that means non-ether gas is God. Oxygen is God. Man, you don't think so? Cut anybody's off for 10 minutes. And I bet man, you cut it off for 30 seconds, and I bet they be begging for you to cut it back on. 10 seconds for some guys. So so who's really God? Then becomes the question, because the Anunnakis became different extraterrestrial species become God because they come here and they got superior technology to humans. So some humans contributed that as, oh well, he must be God because somebody superior to us because he got superior technology. Yes, but they don't mean that he a God. God is one spirit, the spirit that like the whole universe. The spirit that control the whole universe is God, not just one being or one species or one man or one thing. And if any extraterrestrial coming to get you to bow down before them, they full of crap, because they're gonna try to get you to sign a contract with them. We ain't never told nobody. Enlil really wasn't on the worship tip neither though. To be honest with you, the Anunnakis really wasn't on the worship tip completely. It was only couple of specific groups that was down with it, and that was the nomos, those who claim to know the most, and they the ones that set up your Christianity. That's why the Pope walk around with a fish hat. And I see they doing all this stuff for the Pope funeral. All this Ku Klux Klan and Knights of Templar and Rosicrucians and all these different secret societies doing all these rituals for his body. Pope been dead. They've been taking the Pope from under the bed for a while and putting them together. I'm telling you, Roy been told us about that. But yeah, we laugh at that. But the Pope got he tears the Nomos staff. He rock a Nomos fish hat. The Pope, I'm gonna tell you, it's another level to the Pope's funeral. If you pay close attention, you're gonna notice they bringing in the Aquarian age. This is the end of the Piscean age, the end of the two fish, the end of the Pope, the end of the church. Right? They want to bring in this full satanic order on the Baal worship. That's what they're trying to bring. They're trying to bring Baal back from the underworld, who got cast out and became like I told you, Baal was a good guy, but Baal became a scapegoat for Enlil. Enlil was the one that told Baal to go out and crop dust them. He said Enlil told Baal, go get in that crop dusting machine and dust their crops so they can starve. And what happened? The Israelites starved for 7 years, and they had to go. Enki told them to go to Egypt and hook up with his people in Egypt. Enlil told his other son. He had another son named I'll think of his name in a minute. Not wasn't in there too. He had another son. He told him to go and bomb them. No, he said go bomb them with a plague and release like some kind of virus on them to wipe them out. Right? And he didn't do it. Because when he came to the surface, he saw humans had made a temple and started worshiping them. Humans worship these gods because it's like this, it's like they had a superior technology to them. It wasn't nothing to do about like they trying to make it with the Bible. Like we got to be subservient to this God being, and if you don't bow down, you go into hell. But what about the people that don't want to do contracts with Enlil? We don't want no contract with no God that's a jealous God. Why would I want to make a deal with a jealous guy? Why would I want to make a deal with a jealous God? Would you make a contract with a jealous guy? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. We got to start using our natural born common sense and logics and get rid of the religious scare tactics and start breaking through this shit like Doc was starting to do and really get to the bottom of it. The truth of the matter is now we know galactic law that no higher dimensional being can come down and interfere with a younger species or a lower dimensional being. Unless they make a contract. Now we know what the Bible is all about. The Bible is a contract. A contract so some niggas from outer space can come be your God. You know what I'm saying? Hey, to sum it up, so the girls from outer space can come be your God. Huh? And you can look at it another way too, as if now I'm talking from a different perspective, but I know that in a way that these are for a certain group of us, these are our parents. It's like it'd be like almost like disrespecting your parents in a way. So I know I'm that, but I got a pass to say what I gotta say from Anu to tell both all the sides. Don't leave nothing out. That's what he said. Don't leave nothing out. tell everybody's side, and that way you be the judge. That don't mean just because you don't have to follow Enlil rules don't mean that we ain't have rules you had to follow. You ain't just go out to be a bad guy just because you don't follow the rules of the Bible. That don't mean you could go be a bad guy. That don't mean you got the right to go do wrong because you don't got no contract with Enlil. See, there's galactical laws that everybody follow. That ain't no, you don't gotta sign no contract for that. It's those laws are those laws are written in the codes of how the whole order is set up. So it ain't no way around it. And one of those codes is you put out, you get back what you put out. That's a galactical law. That's a universal law. You ain't gotta make no. You made a deal with it just by agreeing to come to life, be alive. You made that agreement just by being alive. That whatever you put out is gonna come back. So if you go around and you treat people bad, you doing wrong, and then boom, you're gonna end up like Big U. And for the people that's out taking up for Big U, we gotta wonder whose side are they on? Big U wasn't moving right. I don't give a damn about no outlaw chief, which y'all talking. He wasn't moving right as an outlaw chief. He was moving like a real live demon. And yeah, 600 could be the police, but you know, it is what it is on it. We ain't worried about him being on police. We just worried about what Big U did and how he's moving. And so Big Mama got his ass out the land. That's all it is to it. And we don't give a care how many 6-0s don't like it. Shout out to Roland. But we don't give a care because the same thing can happen to you. The universe could take you out just like that. Even worse. If you want to move wrong on the land. We in a new day and time now. Ain't no more jacking around. I know a lot of guys that used to be robbers and jackers, and then they end up in a certain when a certain switch happened, they start getting killed. He go rob a guy, and the guy kill him when he trying to rob the guy. You know. So I guess the moral of this story is do you want to make a contract with God? And like I said, the Igigis rebelled because the Anunnakis reneged on the contract. They had a contract with the Anunnaki saying that they were going to get the genetic code after the upgrades happened, which they weren't even supposed to. I guess the Anunnaki said we aren't supposed to be doing this anyway. So if we get under the codes, that's really going to blow our cover. Let's keep the codes for ourselves and wipe out the evidence. So the Anunnakis tried to wipe out the evidence. What was the evidence? The creation of the humans. See, look, Inky really got them busted because he saved Noah. See, they would have wiped out the evidence if they would have let Noah got wiped out too in the flood. You know what I'm saying? Utna fish tomb. So Noah became a witness in this court case. Noah became a witness. And Noah is Inky's son. That's why he saved him. So in this crime of trying to get rid of Enlil trying to get rid of the evidence, he come back now after the fact and try to make a deal with you. We don't want no more contracts from no outer space god. Now, some of them turned over their technology. Some gave us technology in exchange for other things. And I'm gonna tell you, man, as the Sabines, we were making deals with the Anunnakis. We had technology. We had submarines in ancient Egypt. We had submarines, yachts. We was riding around in yachts back then. The yachts, you see the billionaires riding. We had billionaire yachts 10,000 years ago. Go look at the wall in ancient Kemet's pictures of it on the wall, carved into the wall. But I'm about to get out, man. We at S1111. That's IQ. We love you all. Good night. Wadu. Free the Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi York.